I have absolutely loved Transformers Earthspark. And when it comes to the figures that have been offered, I've really focused on the Terrans because they're brand new creations, created on Earth, thanks to the Emberstone, children of Quintus Prime, something very new, something very unique. That's what I always hunger for. I ain't need no more Megatrons and Starscreams and Optimus Primes. But the Terrans I've been really interested in. Enter hashtag. And I have the Warrior version. I wasn't really sure I was going to get this. Is this as good as the Warrior? Is it better than the Warrior? We're going to find out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton to let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And like I said, this is hashtag, sorry, not hashtag, Jawbreaker. I apologize. I think I might have said hashtag earlier too. This is Jawbreaker. I don't know why I always call it Jawbreaker hashtag. If I do it through the review, I apologize. I have the Warrior class version of Jawbreaker. And I love it. It's fairly animation accurate. It's not as good as what Takara did with this deluxe version. But what about Hasbro's release of it? We're going to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And if you're anything like me, you've really been enjoying the Transformers Earthspark Terrans. I like Earthspark. I get that it's been controversial for some people. Some people really don't like it. Some people do. I think it's brilliant storytelling. I think it's deep storytelling, and I love that it explores lore, such as Quintus Prime, that we haven't had before. I've said this many times. And while I'm not necessarily in for repeats of the same characters that we know, like Bumblebee and Optimus and Megatron and whatnot, I very much like the Earthborn Earthspark Terrans, as they're a brand new group, brand new characters. And I would, of course, like to have the entire team. Well, enter the deluxe class version of Jawbreaker. Now I have the Warrior class, and we're going to do that comparison as we go, but this is the Hasbro deluxe class version of Jawbreaker. This is the packaging. Of course, you can see Jawbreaker down here looking very much like his cartoon iteration. Notice that he has red in the middle of his tummy, gray on the sides. He has orange just under his, say, chin on the very upper chest. His thighs are kind of a gray color. Keep all of that in mind. You'll also note by his thumb over here that his hands are also gray. Keep all of that in mind. Over here, of course, we have your typical Earthspark kind of artwork on the side. Over here, again, we have the Terran symbol, which I like that they have their own symbol, even though they're really aligned with the Autobots, I think. And on the back, of course, we have our boy here in both modes. I'm not gonna lie, I like the coloration on the back better than what we actually got on the product itself. So that's it for the packaging. He also comes with quite the full set of instructions. They're pretty effective for the most part. Our boy has two of these blasters. He can hold them in his hand, sure, but really I think that they're intended to go more on his shoulders. And a beautifully painted cast in gold version of his tail with a peg. He can hold it in his hand like a whip, or of course it can go slotted in behind him as his tail proper. And here we have the Deluxe and the Warrior. I have them side by side because we're going to begin things with the score for the look of the guy first. So starting from the feet, working our way up, around the feet, we should have gold, which the Deluxe has, the Warrior doesn't. But then the actual foot itself should really kind of be gray with a little bit of red at the very tip of the toe. Neither foot really wins it here, because they're both incorrect. Then the lower legs, they should certainly be orange, and we should have kind of that tealy, greeny color in gold, which we do have with the Deluxe, instead of just the kind of silvery, gunmetal gray color that we have with the Warrior. And when we go up the legs, the thighs should be a gray color, with the pelvis being more that tealy color. I think the Warrior actually wins that closer, even though his pelvis is more blue than teal. When we get to the actual torso itself, we should have red in the center of the torso with gray on the sides and orange just below the chin. When it comes to the torso, the Warrior absolutely wins it. The logo should not be here like it is on the Deluxe class. I will say this. All of these colors are tweaked and animation accurate with the Takara release of the Deluxe class. When it comes to the head, I think both of them are okay with the head, having the orange around the tealy, bluey face, the gold horns. He should have black or gunmetal gray in the middle of his head, which I think the Warrior kind of does better. I didn't realize that he didn't have it here. When it comes to the arms, the upper arms should be orange as it is with both. The forearm should be orange as it is with both. The elbow section should be more the bluey the bluey tealy color, which neither one does, though I do like the breakup on the Deluxe better. And the hands should be gunmetal gray. You know, I think the Warrior wins it. Overall, I think the Warrior is more animation accurate, but it's also smaller. In terms of overall styling, I think the Deluxe takes it. So, when it comes to a score for the look of the Deluxe, I'm going to have to give it somewhere around a 7. It's not as good as I would like for it to be for animation accuracy. By the way, if you're interested, I looked at the Warrior Class Jawbreaker in episode 1122, October of 2023. So quite a bit of time ago. And when I saw the Deluxe, I wasn't necessarily sure I needed it, but I did like the proportions of it better. That said, the Hasbro release, man, it's real stylized from the cartoon, so about a 7. Let's take this guy out of it. We'll see him again later when we get to the Dino mode. Let's do the articulation for this guy, if we may. We have a head that goes left, right, bit of up, bit of down. The arms go all the way around, and they can T-pose all right, not perfect, but all right. I think the Warrior actually T-poses a bit better. Very stiff elbows to 90 degrees, bicep swivel, nothing at the wrist. Now I guess the wrist can go in, but that's really for transformation. So that's a little bit of a bummer about the wrist, but again, when we compare it to what we got with the Warrior, I mean the Warrior doesn't have a wrist, it does have an elbow to 90 degrees, and it does have a bicep swivel. It T-poses about the same, I'm looking at it now, about the same, so it's not perfect. The Warrior does not have a waist. This guy does not have a waist, a bit of a bummer. When we do splits, he can do splits all the way out to the side. Legs go all the way forward. Legs go, you know, certain, not all the way back, but I think enough back for what you're going to need. We only have a thigh wiggle, not a thigh rotation. And we have very deep knee because of transformation. And he does have a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of an ankle tilt. He's real solid on his feet. The Warrior class, just by comparison, can also do splits all the way out to the side. Also just has a thigh wiggle, has 90 degrees at the knee, but does not have an ankle tilt. So this has everything that the Warrior class has in terms of articulation, with the addition of an ankle tilt and a head that doesn't just go left and right, but also looks up and down. That's the additions that the articulation have here. I think both are pretty good. I'm going to say, I mean, a waist would be nice, dedicated thigh swivel would be nice, but I still think it's about an 8. So we had, you know, say a 7.5 for the look, we had an 8, so say 7.75. Let's do the transformation for this guy. So, we're going to begin by folding that in and bringing that down, and we're going to do the same over here. We're going to fold that in and bring it down for now. We're going to take the tail and kind of bring that all down and around. It's just plugged into a port back here, so you can move it kind of however you want. We're going to pick off the kind of sides of the body. It was very tight the first time I did it, but it's loosened up since. We're going to turn the head around, and then that kind of pushes down in the body. It's not, I can't say it's elegant. Oh, and I guess I can bring out these arms as well. But it should all push down. Why can't I get that to push down in the body now? Because like the whole head here should come up over, right? Is really what's happening here. There we go. Now I got it going down there. And this comes right up over the head. Little cumbersome, I think, pushing that down there. But here comes the dino head all the way up over. We're going to just bring these kind of forward for now. We're going to deal with the legs next. And the legs, really, they're just going to come up and over. And this whole section here is going to slot over this section here. Actually, it's a little more than up and over because we got to bring the whole waist up, bring that tail down. So the whole waist kind of comes up and over. Then we can fold in a knee to go over right there, fold in a knee to go over right there, and bring the tail down. Then we have to deal with the sections here on the side. So we're going to turn the knees that way, and I just pop that out. Though I shouldn't have. They should go up straight. And I'm pretty sure that these go like kind of positioned like this. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Bend that knee. Turn this around. Kind of bring that down there. Now, here's where I kind of don't like part of the transformation. We have a tab down here and we have a peg up here. And in here, we have a little slot that should go over that and another little slot that should go over this. I find it a nuisance to put in. In fact, so much so that I'm not even going to do it on camera. I'm going to do it off camera. But once those are pegged in, I mean, boom, in the end, in essence, here we have Jawbreaker in his alt mode. Let me just solidify those legs. Okay, so pardon the cut. I did put the peg over the peg, or the peg hole over the peg up here. I did solidify both down here and here. Now, the one other thing you're supposed to do, though I don't think it's a good idea, is you have these two rectangular pegs here. Really, you're supposed to straighten up the arm here, and this slot here should go over those, but I do find doing that will severely limit his leg articulation, so I don't tend to do it. That said, without doing it, his articulation or his balance becomes a little wishy-washy, if you will. So I don't do it, but you're supposed to officially. I don't know, it's an okay transformation. I'm not blown away by it. He was a 7.75. I think the transformation is still only about a 7.75. That said, the articulation here, if you leave these legs unattached, and I should straighten that one up too, then we have full forward back. You can angle these claws however you want. You know, you can give them a bit of splits. The jaw does open and close, and the head can move up and down, but I really expected that the head was going to be able to move left and right, and it can't. I find that a bummer. The tail can go up and down, again, depending on how you position things. It's not the most articulated dino mode in the world, if you ask me. It's okay. It's okay. But again, I do find that the guy really does have some balance issues. You know, I guess if I want to be proper, I can. Let's actually peg these in and just see if it helps his balance to stand up. Though I'm not 100% sure it will, to be honest with you. Bring that down again. This ridge here goes over these two. Maybe it does. Maybe it helps his solidity for standing up a little bit, but now you can't really move his leg, so I don't know. It's a bit of a trade-off. I find that to be a bit of a bummer myself. I'm going to say that his overall score is a 7.75. Not my favorite Terran. Not bad, but not my favorite Terran. Of course, here he is next to his significantly smaller warrior class version. This one is more of a sea of orange. Not for nothing, but just like these shoulders, peg in over 2 rectangular pieces. These shoulders, they still peg in, except now it's a circular peg into a circular slot, which again limits the leg mobility in Dino mode. The jaw on this one doesn't open, the jaw on this one does. So, you know, minimally better articulation on the Deluxe. The size is definitely better, but I do wish that the transformation was a little smoother, and I do wish that the articulation was a little more improved for the Deluxe. And not for nothing, but I guess I should show this to end things off. Here's Jawbreaker back in his robot mode next to his Terran brethren. The only one here that's not a Deluxe is Thrash, because honestly I prefer the warrior class, because his arm shield blaster thing doesn't just attach to the back of the motorcycle, it actually transforms into the sidecar. I know that the coloration isn't quite right on the warrior class Thrash, but I think I prefer him better over the Deluxe because his alt mode is actually more accurate. So here's 4 of them. All we need is a proper hashtag, and we know that's coming. Overall score for Deluxe Jawbreaker, for me, 7.75. He's okay, but definitely not my favorite Terran. And here we are once again, and here he is. And like, I like him. There's things that I really dig about this. I do find the transformation to be a little more cumbersome than I thought it was going to be, than it probably needs to be. The arms being long makes sense. I do wish that his hands were kind of a gray color. On his chest, where his Terran symbol is, it should really be red, and the Terran symbol should more be on his arm. There's things here that's less animation accurate than the warrior class. I think I might actually like the warrior class just a little bit more than this guy. But this is still a fun, functional guy to be sure. I do like the tail being able to move a bit more. I do wish that the head in Dino mode could move a bit more. I know the jaw opens and closes, but I really thought the head was going to have a little more motion than it does. This isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I do feel like that there was still room to make this just a little bit better. I'm glad to have it, glad to add it to my Terran forces, but is it my favorite Terran? No. Let me know what you think about this iteration of Jawbreaker. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and please don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.